is there a purpose of coming out here in nature on your own? What is really the point of breathing in this fresh air and being all that you can be on the inside? Really, what is the motivation to leaving society for a given amount of time? Well, it's actually what you're doing is you're creating an alternative culture in your mind and your brain. When you're around so much culture, such as Facebook and YouTube and news, and I guess all of the, even your family and your friends, all of the influences that come from them, really all of that is brought into your brain and creates your worldview. Now, how does this sound? That your worldview is created by other people. Have you ever thought about how scary that is? That literally you're kind of a slave to other people's worldviews and you just believe them without questioning. Well, let's think of the alternative, creating your own culture. So yes, probably you grow up in your culture from your birth until you're, say, 18 or 20. But is that an excuse for after you turn 20 or 21? Right? When do we have the responsibility on our own shoulders of creating our own culture that can bring us true happiness, true eternal joy in the rest of our lives? A lot of good ways to do this is reading books. A lot of authors have gone deep into themselves and thought about who they are and what is the humanity that we all have in common. Books are a great way to do that. Number 2 is getting out in nature. Okay, if you watch nature, it's not trying to be what it's not. It's just the way that it is. A tree doesn't have to pretend that it's something greater than it is, right? People try to pretend like they're greater. Like I'm greater than my self-image, right? That's why we have such low self-esteem in ourselves, is we judge ourselves, right? We say, oh, I should have this and I should be like this person. And it's just judging yourself against other people, right? The alternative is to truly learn who you are. What is your potential, right? What is your gut telling you? What is your heart telling you? What could your mind become, right? We want to be improving our psychology. How do we improve our psyche and our psychology to become almost like Jedi masters in our minds, right? That's creating our own culture. The best way to do that is being by yourself, reading books, breathing, not thinking too much. The nature of happiness is not overthinking, not using too much of your mind. Yes, you can use your intellect, right? Your intellect is your mathematical skills, your skills with people, your social skills, your linguistic skills, your logical skills, your scientific skills. These are your intellect. But usually how our mind works is through fear and worrying and stress. So how can we go above and beyond that? It's creating your own culture in your own mind, okay? The more culture you're creating, the less influence society is going to have on you, okay? Right now, most people, their culture is 99% society is the culture in their mind, right? Their entire worldview is based on society, okay? But little by little, when you're on your own, trusting your own intuition, trusting your own heart, now all of a sudden 10% of your worldview is your own culture. All of a sudden 20, 30, 40%. Eventually what we want is to use society to benefit us in terms of maintaining a middle class lifestyle, right? We need to have a career to make money and resources, so that we have enough money in our wallets, we have a comfortable home to have, right? But ultimately, though, that doesn't lead you to happiness, right? And college tried to convince you that it was the final answer to life. But the purpose of college is to teach you how to be part of the middle class. There is almost no other point of college besides this. So go to college, learn how to be in the middle class, but how can we improve our own culture and our own minds to go beyond, right, just the limits that our society has put on us. It's put these limits that we can't go beyond and says, hey, come back to us. You're being too different. You're being too weird. You're too strange. Okay, when society tells you this is when you get depression. Okay, to go beyond depression, you actually go into it 100%. You go into your depression. Your depression is telling you, hey, this is not right. Society is not bringing you to happiness. That is what your depression is telling you. So you have to go in, and your depression is going to be knocking on the door of your soul, right? You want to accept it and bring it out. Okay? Through depression, your heart's going to flower. That is ultimately what we want by creating your own culture and creating your own worldview. How does the world really work? How does nature work? What is the interaction between society and civilization with nature? Is there truly a difference? Okay, you got to question everything. What is the point of science? What is philosophy? What is the difference between religion and spirituality? This is how we create our own culture, thereby creating much more happiness in our lives.